Yes, if you told us a year ago we'd have been opening a podcast studio, I don't think either of us would have believed it.
I think if you'd have said 6 months ago we'd have been having a podcast studio, I would have said you were talking complete and utter bollocks. But we're there, we've done it.
Well, yeah, nearly there. We're nearly over the line. So, what's the reason for us doing this, do you think? I definitely think, knowing you, there's definitely a lot of value I think that you can add for people.
Well, it turned around in a weekend, didn't it? I had the idea probably 4 or 5 months ago originally, and it sat.
Yeah. I can tell you when, because I think we was out for food that evening.
Yeah.
So it was literally 4 months ago.
I think, you know what I'm like, I'm not afraid to pull the trigger on stuff, but I thought about it and it percolated, and I knew I wanted to open a podcast studio because around Sheffield and South Yorkshire, there's not really, there's competition, but I wouldn't say there's quality competition.
Yeah.
So I definitely saw a gap in the market there, but I don't do creative, do I?
No, and I'm sure you rang me, I'm sure it was about 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and you don't normally ring me like that. Well, you didn't then anyway. And so I answered it, and I remember the conversation started, and I'm sure you said, I've had a bit of a 3 a.m. brainwave.
I think it was a 3 a.m.
And I know a lot of that stemmed from what was going to be downstairs. So do we discuss that? Do you think, do we touch on...
We can do, and that was the original idea, but the idea's pivoted, I think.
Yeah.
But it started from a conversation with you at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning to me then ringing you at probably 9 o'clock Monday morning saying I've signed the paperwork on the unit, I've signed the lease, and come and get the keys.
Yeah, I think I'd ask for a meeting with you. Just because you know me, I think this is why I think this podcast is important, because we're quite polar opposite in how we run businesses, I think.
Yeah,
obviously you've been super successful in what you've done in your industry, which we'll touch on. So I was on the back foot originally with the plane idea. I was a little bit on the back foot with it. And I'm a little bit more tactical way how I assess things. I've got to think things through and look at all my alternatives and my options first. So I know we'd planned a meeting, and I came in for that meeting with you. And I think I'd not even sat down in your office, and you put some keys on the desk, and you're like, right, I've got us a unit. We're on it. And I was like, right, okay, it's getting real then.
I think it's the reason we work so well is if I was the captain of the Titanic, I would have said it's only a small puncture, let's keep going. But you're like the dictionary definition of procrastination, because you look at everything from every conceivable angle.
I know.
Where I'm a bit like, let's just burn the boats and worry about the situation later.
Yeah. So
I think that's why we work really, really well together. Again, we've got very, very different backgrounds. I've had the privilege of working with you now for what, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, I think I picked up a camera 2019. I was still in a full-time employment.
Yeah.
Taught myself on YouTube. And then, then around that time, so it must have been post-COVID time, I think, around 2021, when I probably first met you.
Yeah.
So obviously
we did that content for my home at your friend's house. Do you remember? Up, was it in Dinnington? That was the first ever content shoot we did.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah. I think I've got that in my Dropbox still, so I'll find that.
Yeah. That was like around mid-2021. I think that was the first time we worked together.
Probably worked together, yeah. I think we knew of each other because of the networks we were involved with.
Yeah, we roll in similar circles.
But I think you directly reached out to me to say you wanted me for that promotional content then.
Yeah.
And then it was bits and bats, wasn't it, from then? So yeah, so my background is predominantly content creator. So I went full time December 21. So yeah, you must have been very early doors in using me as a creative. And then, yeah, like I said, we've worked together bits and bats. I've obviously become more involved with your main line of work.
Yep.
But yeah, your background is not this. When people think of you opening a podcast studio, it's not this industry, is it? It's
no, but all of this, mate, is you. This is nothing to do with me. I could not have done this without you, because I wouldn't have known where to begin. If you think my background's construction, which then led into property.
Give people an update on it. I think people are. I mean, I don't know how much you need to get. You've got lots of things. You've got lots of plates spinning.
Yeah. So I'm an electrician by trade.
Yeah.
My father's a builder, or was a builder. He's retired now. My mother worked for the water board. So I grew up in a ex-council house down in Devon. And then my dad's business started to do well, and my mum started going through the ranks. And I don't think they wanted me to be a tradesperson. I genuinely don't think they did. But I kind of, from a young age, used to like hanging around those sorts of people. So I ended up being an electrician. Went off to Australia and New Zealand for 4 years, came back, worked for a company, realised I was unemployable. just because I'm outspoken and I go against the grain. But that was how I started my electrical business, Platinum. That was 13 years ago, and that's grown from 0 to 7.5 million a year.
It's still growing.
And it's still growing, yeah. And then sort of the last 4 years, I've started kind of getting more involved in property. Again, through the same network I already had, because tradespeople know people. One of my good friends, Joe Woodhouse, has got me into like property investing. He's taught me a lot. And then I've kind of used my network and what he's taught me, and then kind of emulated what I'm currently doing with property deal sourcing and stuff like that. So it kind of tied in quite well as well with my social media journey, because you managed to talk me into getting myself on camera more, which was something I was really like worried about, because I don't, you know me, I'm quite an like, I'm an out there person in my group, but I'm a very private person personally.
Yeah.
So for me, posting on social media a month ago, 6 weeks ago, was a daunting thing, and you've kind of pushed me off the ledge with that. So I think that was all part of this journey for me as well. I think I wanted to grow my own personal brand, but there was limited options available for me around here, because I'm so sort of time restricted, where you can park outside here. You're 2 minutes off the M1, you're 10 minutes off the M18, you're 5 minutes from Sheffield, 5 minutes from Rotherham, 15 minutes from Doncaster.
Yeah, so for context, this is your 4th unit in this space.
Yeah, this is my 4th unit on this estate.
So your HQ, as we call it, is literally just opposite here. Then.
Yeah, you could probably throw a stone from outside of here and hit my office window.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got 4 units on this estate now. But that was the journey. But I think, you know, in the time I've had working with you, is you are the greatest creative mind. You don't give yourself enough credit. You are the greatest creative mind I've ever come across. Now,
appreciate that, mate.
you could look at people's content online, and when they use a videographer like yourself, and even from what I've learned from you in a very, very short period of time, I'm starting to spot mistakes people make. But you seem to see things from angles other people don't see, which is why you were the 100% best choice to come in on this with me. Because I think, obviously with Aura, there's loads of people that do podcasts. There's however many million people globally that do podcasts.
It's one of the fastest growing media formats in this past.
Long form content is, but how many do it well? You know, how many
studios?
Studios, yeah. But how many studios do you think are bang average?
Yeah, a lot, vast majority. I think as a videographer and speaking, I've got a close network of other very talented videographers, and we've spoken about it. I think there's a lot of podcast studios you see that it's probably somebody, maybe like yourself, who've thought this is a good business model to create a podcast studio, but then they don't do the other half of getting a creative involved.
Yeah.
And then you can tell as a videographer, as a professional creative, you can see when you're looking at the content coming out of those studios.
Yeah.
You know, we said it from the offset that we want to deliver a certain standard of content out of this space, and I believe we're delivering that.
Yeah.
We've
not just been to IKEA, bought a couple of chairs, a table, some sort of like acoustic wall paneling.
And random, like the amount that's been invested into this kit is eye-watering when you tell people.
Yeah. I mean, do we tell them what the level we've gone to?
I don't know. I don't do it.
It's punchy.
Do we tell them that, or do we get people to guess what the total build is? But obviously, with your network of, I mean, I'm sure we can discuss this, obviously, with your network of, not your network, with your team of electricians.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I dread to think, so for context for people watching, this is obviously completely purpose-built. This was just an open room. I've obviously got the footage of me and you when we was in here only 12 weeks ago, measuring up green taping on the floor and looking at the size of the rooms. So
you look quite daunted at that stage when I was saying try and see past what it is, but because you work visually, I think you find it hard to see something further down the road unless you can see it in front of you. Well, in my industry, I can see it for what it's going to be eventually, not what it is now.
Yeah. I think I felt better once we saw it taped out on the floor, and it started to feel a bit real at that point.
Yeah.
But taking it from that to this, electrics-wise, yeah. I dread to think what I would have spent in actual, do you know, if I'd outsourced that to, if I didn't have your network of electricians.
I think the electrics alone would have been about £30,000.
Yeah. So it would have probably been a 6-figure build for this studio then.
Yeah.
It had tipped us to that point.
We were lucky because obviously with the people I work on properties with, because we give those people work all the time, we already had the same network of people that we use all the time. So we did call in favors from people.
Yeah.
I know, like, we had to pay full market rate for mics, lights, and all the stuff I don't understand. But like you said, you don't really have a network for that. You go on to whatever website. I know you said you can buy cheaper from certain websites and certain suppliers, but
we've not cut any corners.
No, we've gone all out on everything. And there's been, I think we've spent more than we originally would have spent, but it's not gone like HS2 over budget.
Yeah, and I think when we had an original first budget meeting, it was like we set a nice to have budget, didn't we? We didn't like fully lock it down. It was like, look, we think it's going to be like this, and obviously we've gone over that.
Yeah. I think for me though, at what point do you cut corners and do you cut costs? Because in the construction industry, there's something called VE, value engineering. But when you're trying to deliver a quality product, how can you value engineer something that's quality? I don't think you can. Because, all right, let's be honest, we bought cheaper paint. Did that work out?
No.
We had to go and get the dearer paint.
Yeah.
We looked at wallpaper, and then we ended up spending 90 quid a roll on a roll of, do you know what I mean? A roll of wallpaper, because the cheaper option didn't work. We looked at okay flooring.
Yep.
We ended up spending about £2,000 over budget on flooring. Obviously, all the AV side of stuff, that's entirely you. I didn't get involved in that. You just said, right, let's go with the best money can buy in the industry. Yeah. But it was just down to the details that I think a lot of people haven't gone into, like acoustic insulation and stuff like that. I think there's things, and like really heavy doors that help block the sound out. There's things that that you won't see that have been factored in.
Yeah.
Where I think like you see podcast studios now, they pop up on my Instagram feed all of the time. It drives me mad. But like, it looks like someone's just like bought or rented an office space in Nottingham and like
thrown some mics together, thrown some of this paneling out. Maybe.
Yeah. But they've not actually gone into the level of thought and detail we have. I mean, I didn't know until you went into it how much actually goes into like lighting.
Yeah.
Like I know from like when you've done filming stuff with me over the years, like angles and stuff like that, and how important lighting is. Even in a setup like this, I didn't think it was important as what it actually is. And it's only when you started stripping back to me that this is actually what's involved. But I think the end sort of, well, I say polished, finished product. We're not polished and finished yet. We're getting there. And I think there's always going to be things we want to tweak.
Yeah.
And I know you well. And we've become quite close over the last sort of couple of months, haven't we? I've broken you, I think. I think this has broken you on a few occasions.
Yeah, it's pushed me. People keep asking me how I've been feeling about the studio, and I don't know how to feel about it yet. I mean, obviously I'm excited, but I think because I'm just so laser focused on what I know the end product can be, it's just that's all I see it. And there will be a point where I sit back and be like, okay, like this is cool. I think because I know the demand's there for it. The demand's there already. We've not pushed it that hard yet, but the demand's been crazy. There's going to be a period now of, eventually, obviously, we want to get somebody in here, don't we? Manning like a studio assistant. Yeah. There's going to be a phase for me to see that period over. I think so. It's going to be a challenging phase while I'm running my own business still. As you know, trying to scale other businesses. Yeah. But it's challenging. But I think while working so close to you to see what you do, I think that definitely motivates me to think I can manage it. Although your head probably doesn't work like most people's heads, which you say that many times, don't you? That
no,
it's just gifting. It's your superpower and your curse sometimes.
Yeah. I very famously got told by one of my arch nemesis in business. He said, Greg, your biggest asset is you care too much, but it's also your biggest negative that you care too much. So there is pros and cons, because I know people that can like compartmentalize very, very well. They can go home at 4 o'clock and switch off. I know I'm not like that. I know you're not like that. And I think striving for perfection in something, no matter what you do in life, whether you're a consultant, whether you're in online coaching, whether you're in construction, the list goes on and on and on. If you want to be perfect at something, it's something you have to get better at every single day. Yeah. And I know the amount of times you've texted me late at night going, I think we should change this. Yeah. How many carpets have we sent back? Yeah. Because you're the carpet doesn't work. I don't like the chairs.
I've gone through like 4 rugs in one room.
I'm surprised, the furniture suppliers and Amazon haven't stopped us using them with the amount of stuff you've sent back.
Yeah.
But
it's true. And I'm sure I've been I'm sure at one point where you literally said to me, just pull the trigger. I think there was something I was overthinking.
Was it a pot plant or something you were texting me about 11:30 at night? And I was like, just fucking pull the trigger, Alex.
I don't know what it was.
Is there anything, looking back on it now, obviously I know we're still finishing up plans for downstairs, but upstairs is live and kicking. With the upstairs, what would you have done differently knowing what you know now? If you could go back to day dot, and don't say not working with you bastard, that's not an option. If you could wind the clock back to...
I'm not going to say that.
What would you change?
Good question.
Creatively.
I don't know, and I feel like that's a good thing. We obviously made a mistake on the first batch. We was too adventurous we wanted to put a kitchen studio up here, and that just wasn't viable. Yeah. Realised we needed an office space, but also a space that can be used for solo direct camera content. I think from obviously I I was quickly thrown into a role of project managing this. So I think it would have been more clarity when giving instructions to people. Stop assuming. I'm bad for assuming. You'll communicate verbally with somebody, but even when you think you've communicated that clearly, I think I'd have put things in writing more clearly of what I wanted.
Yeah.
Because there were some speed bumps in terms of things, not how I want them to be with the build. And I think that would have been avoided by just clarity from my side. So I definitely think that's a massive learning curve. Just be super clear with people what you want.
Yeah. I think if you see with someone like yourself that works visually, if you look in how something looks in your head, someone else's interpretation of that could be entirely different.
Yeah, true.
As we found out with the insulation as a prime example,
Yeah.
which we had to change because the insulation wasn't insulated enough.
Yeah.
As we found out. And
Yeah.
then we swapped it out for
Right.
what was the original insulation. I'm not an insulation expert, but
It was acoustic insulation, but wasn't to the standard of what we wanted to build for this.
yeah.
Because obviously we wanted to get to the point where we can, well, we're at that point now where we can run your podcast back to back in this room here and not be able to hear. You might hear a slight undertone. Obviously, we're not creating sound booths. The level of, the level of had to go to get that would have been like astronomical. But I think, yeah, we wanted to get to a level of acoustically treating the rooms. And yeah, it's the rock wool insulation. I've learned so much about insulation, paint types, electrics. There's things I thought I knew that I didn't know. But yeah, it's been a learning on the job build. So I like to think we've got the blueprint because obviously the big goal,
You know, I hate that word.
what?
Blueprint.
Oh, I've just said blueprint. I've said the trigger word.
How many times
I've
blueprints do
edited
not
you a video.
exist?
I've just edited you a video. We've got, Okay, right. Let me rephrase that. We've got a template to work from. Does that work?
Template would work.
Yeah, it's not a
Structure.
Blueprint. I think blueprint. I was just saying it probably triggers. Yeah, blueprint makes out like this. It's just that's it, and there's no fluctuations away from that, which is not true, is it? So
No. Blueprint triggers me because it's someone selling a fucking Forex course or get rich quick scheme. They always seem to use the word blueprint.
got the blueprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just said the trigger word.
Yeah. You know, that's one of ones for me.
Something I wanted to touch on,
Go on.
and obviously I'll lean on you for how much you want to talk about this side, but I think what I know will be a takeaway from people and something I've learned from you from when you were doing some mentoring with me like last year and now during this process is valuing people. I know you value your team.
Yes.
And you see value in people. Sometimes I think you've probably been over trusting in the past, haven't you?
Massively.
Yeah. So that's been a downfall for you. But like I said, I know you value people. So this first came about from you bringing me into it and saying, look, you wanted to start this studio and you want to see me win from it from a financial perspective. You're like, look, I'll pay for your time. Do you remember this conversation, how this started?
Yeah, no, I do.
Obviously, we had that first meeting and you were like, look, whatever you need, just build me whatever you need. I trust you. Just let me know what time you needed to help me get this off this ground was the first conversation, wasn't it? And then I think during that first meeting, obviously, I opened up to you and said, look, as a goal as a business owner now is I'm trading time for money all the time. And like the white rabbit analogy you put on the other day, I loved that because that's definitely me at the minute. But yeah, I'm just trading time for money. I'm only ever earning money while I'm working.
Yeah.
So I want to get to the point where I've got passive income.
Yeah.
So obviously I saw like this would have been that sort of opportunity. So then I mentioned that to you. Wasn't at the point where I had the level of financials needed to get this off the ground initially without looking into like business loans and things like that.
Yeah.
And I remember that you saying to me, you said, don't neglect your value as a creative. Like you've already kind of touched on already.
I've said that to you for the 2 years I've been mentoring you.
Yeah, you've told me to charge up my prices.
Because you went from doing what was a passion or a hobby to a paid hobby. You weren't treating it like a business, and we won't discuss the facts and figures, but you were probably at the same turnover for like 2-3 years. You were hitting a wall, weren't you? And you couldn't get past it.
Yeah.
And it's because you were operating like you're doing a paid hobby.
Yeah.
And I think for you as well, I think you don't realize how good you are at what you do. And I don't think anyone's actually given you the break you deserve. And I'm a firm believer in any business or any walk of life, you need an opportunity. And I think I needed you probably more than you needed me, because you could have got anyone to come into this sort of setup with you and back you. But for me to find a you would have been nigh on impossible, because there's hundreds of videographers out there. There's hundreds of content creators out there.
Yeah.
But 9 out of 10 wouldn't have been able to deal with me. They would have told me to fuck off within the first week and then never spoke to me again. Do you know what I mean? Because I know I can be demanding. But you see, like I said, you see things from angles people don't see. And I think this is a really good thing for you to help propel your own brand. And I think it's also going to give you more experience with different people as well. And I think that's going to help get you to where you want to go. Because I think as well, confidence for you is an issue. Like when we started recording this, you said, this is really weird for me being the other side of the camera. It's normally me behind the camera.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But you're really confident behind the camera.
Yeah.
But you don't come across that way. You let your work speak for itself, which is why I think you're a very like undervalued resource, because you get people that could be an absolute shit videographer. I'm not going to reel off the 10 that we both know that come into my head, but they're salespeople and they come across really well on camera and they present themselves really well and they articulate themselves really well, but their work shit.
Yeah.
But you're almost the other way. You don't know how to sell yourself, but your work's
I'm
off the chart.
I'm shocking at selling myself. No, mate, I appreciate that a lot.
But that's a confidence thing.
Yeah, and that's what I want some people to take away from that who are listening is that don't neglect your own value. And yeah, you literally said, like, you could, like, if you was all about your own pocket in that situation, you wouldn't have had that conversation because you would have just thought, I'll pay him X amount and then you'll got 100% of this place to take away.
Yeah.
And obviously you literally said to me, he was like, go away, look, chat to Nicole, come back and pitch in at what percent. And it's a complex situation. It's a complex conversation to have as friends, but then now becoming business partners. I think people need to differentiate the two, don't they? And I think that's where I think working with friends, and I've seen it myself with families working together, majority of those relationships break down because it's tough.
Yeah.
So I think people need to, but that comes down to the people. So you need to have those boundaries clear, don't you? As this is a business partnership. That's the friendship. That's the dog that's under the table. If anyone's wondering,
she's living her best life.
That's the resident dog. But no, obviously, yeah. Then I came back. We had a chat, didn't we, about bounced the ideas around how we thought the structure could work, and then we went from there.
We've got a good working relationship because we both know the lines of where each other's strong and weak. You know, I think I'm the least creative person you know, but I'm quite strong with figures. I'm quite strong with business. I'm quite good at seeing opportunities, and I'm quite seeing things from a divergent mindset.
Yeah.
Where you're probably slightly weaker in that area.
Yeah.
But you're very, very good with the creative side. Hence why throughout this, whenever you've said, I think we should do this, Greg, if it's been creative, I've not really got involved in it because you've dealt with it and you know it. And vice versa. If you've said financially, you don't think that's going to stack up, you've not really questioned it in return, have you?
Yeah, I think a couple of times, because when we first got this off the ground, I think, funny story actually, you was like, look, I've got a unit, we're going for it. Your joiner's meeting you this day. I'm off to Antigua.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you went to Antigua for a week. And I was like, holy shit, right now I've gone from a videographer to a project manager. And there was some decisions I had to make, and I didn't want to make them just out of respect without obviously speaking to the business owner. And a few of your team were like, just make the call and he'll be fine, just make the call. But obviously I wanted to run it past you. But also anything I've challenged with you, you've not contested anything either. You've just been like, yep, go for it, cool.
I'd much rather be in a position where someone made a decision and pulled the trigger and it be the wrong decision than pull the trigger or not pull the trigger at all, because I believe inaction is worse than no action. And again, but you need to have that trust that that person that you're putting in that position is able to deliver. And I never for a second thought you would not be able to deliver, but I think that's a confidence thing with you. But you've grown massively, mate, throughout this process.
I think I've definitely grown some more wrinkles on my forehead, and
your hairline's nearly as bad as mine.
Hell, I literally had the conversation with Nicole about just shaving it off. If anyone's watching this who's a business owner or wanting to be a business owner, what do you think's a single piece of advice you could give them?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. You'll miss 100% of the shots you don't take if you're thinking about starting a business. And I think in business, by definition, in any business, to win, you have to take risks. By definition, you have to risk things to win. And I think at the minute, and I've been going through a similar thing in my businesses at the minute, when you first start a business journey, you play the game like you have nothing to lose. And a lot of businesses do that. And then in like years 1 to 5, when you're playing the game like you got nothing to lose, you see growth, because every day you're going down to the business casino and you're putting all your money on 26 black. And you don't really give a shit because you've got nothing to lose. But when you get to the situation where I am now, you're not playing to win, but you're not playing to lose either. And I think you lose momentum in that. And I think that's a really valid piece of advice for anyone that if you've been in business and you've been in business for a while and it's going stagnant, I don't necessarily think it's a business problem. More often than not, it's a you problem. And I'm learning this. Like, there's mistakes I've made in the last 6 to 12 months where buck stops with me, and I've probably throttled the team back a little bit, where I should have let them kind of go and express themselves a little bit more. But I also think I should have took more chances and then kind of delved into more opportunities. But don't be afraid to have a shot, because if you're sat there watching this, and no matter what field you're in, whether it be creative, whether it be construction, whether it be retail, if you are going to work for someone, nothing wrong with that, by the way. If you're happy working a 9 to 5 and taking a wage and paying your bills, I'm not taking that away from anyone. You know, having a business is not for everyone, and ultimately you have to have something very wrong with you to start your own business. But you're going to get the same result every single month for the rest of your life. That is the end. That is the end of it. You're going to get paid on the 30th of the month. All right, your pay slip might go up with pay rises or promotions, but you're going to cap your ability in life. You're going to be existing. You're not really going to be living. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if you really want to strive for something, but I think in business, you don't go into business to make money. You go into business to create value. I went into business to help people. And this is a good example of this. You know, people that take their content creation seriously, and this is like the backbone of what we built Aura on. It was almost like 99% need not apply, because we don't want to get any kid podcaster coming through here that's paying £50 an hour for some backhole office on the 17th floor of, like, you know, an office block. We want people that take their content creation seriously, and they want to take their business and their content creation to the next level. So I think, you know, whatever you do, you need to go into it seriously. But don't be afraid to lose. Do you know what I mean? Because if you want to get where you want to go, you're going to have to take risks. So
yeah, you made some very good points there. And I think I've said this to people before without realizing it, is that if somebody asked me like what the piece of advice I'd give, or what I think, I don't like to say being successful in my business, but I like to think I've, from my videography business started as a hobby, is going all right. It's going pretty good. And that's only because I've cared about I've cared about. You've seen this because obviously you've been on the receiving end of me being your videographer for your business, is I care about people's content like it's my own.
Yeah.
And I think, if you care about the process, care about your product, everything else just falls in line, the revenue and all things. I've never once looked at, like, I've been blown away by some monthly revenues that I've made, but I've never done those revenues because I've been chasing those revenues. I've just been working. I'm just doing what I love. Never feels like work.
Yeah.
And that's the golden ticket, really. That's it. When you can work in a day, I know we all have stressful days still, but the hours I've done running that business and getting this over the line is ridiculous, but I've never really finished it and been like, never had Sunday dread, been like, oh, Monday I've got to go to the studio and get this. It's not that, because it's a privilege.
But you're doing it because you know you're working towards something.
And that, yeah.
You know, how many people that have a job sit at home Sunday evening watching whatever, I don't really watch telly, but whatever's on TV Sunday evenings going, I've got to be up at 6:30 tomorrow morning to go to work, to a place I hate, to a job I don't get really very well paid. I'm not valued. I'm not treated very well, but I have to go there because I've got gas, water, electric, rent, council tax.
Yeah.
You know, would you rather be in the position you're in now, betting on yourself, or betting on someone else?
Yeah, 100% my position, yeah.
I think it was a Denzel Washington statement that said, if you're working for someone, you're paying for someone else to live their dreams. And that's quite a true one.
Yeah, it's so true.
I'm not doing myself any favors here, because if the 60 odd people that work for me are watching this, I'm not doing myself any favors. There's nothing wrong with working for someone.
No, there's not.
And there's pros and cons in either direction.
Yep.
You know, I think it's quite interesting with my own team. I don't have a massive like day-to-day relationship with the engineering side. I normally deal with the leadership team, but people are very quick to judge on what you have. But I think everyone's jealous of what you have, but no one's jealous of what you've done to get it.
No.
And I think people don't know, over the 13 years I've had the business, how close I've come. I never actually mentioned this publicly before, but as we're talking about business and progression and trying to get this thing off the ground, we had our 10-year anniversary on the platinum side in September 2013. And it was on the last Friday of the month. But it was our 10-year anniversary. So we started in 2013.
Yeah.
So we had like 200 people, I think, come to this event, like a dinner dance event.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to sit everyone down, and I had to give a speech about how well we were doing. But no one knew, not even my business partner, that 6 days before that event, I had to borrow £100,000 using my house as collateral to pay wages that month. And that was a very awkward conversation with me and Deanna, because she was like, Greg, if this fucking backfires, us and the kids are homeless. And I'm like, well, at the time I might have had, say, 15 people working for me, 20 people working for me. Do you know what I mean? But I'm like, I can't let them down. The ironic thing is, a couple of them fucked off about 3 months later and took off my workforce and me and tried to take my business out. But, you know, loyalty and everything else. Loyalty is the one thing you can't buy.
Yeah.
100%. But you have to keep going and you have to keep finding a way. I could not go back to working for someone. I don't think I have that in me.
No.
And I think this is another thing for me, what this stands for, the people that want to create something. And I'm only beginning to tap into the resource of content creation and what it can generate for people. And this is a facility to push people in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think the more, see, this is probably why it's important for us to sit down and do this podcast, because I'm very bad for not reflecting on things. I'm just like tunnel vision. Like, and again, it's not the same, but I spoke about it when I say it out loud. Obviously, I was paid to go to Miami with Ben Bray. Like when you tell people you was paid to go, so you paid for your flights. I was like, yeah, paid for me what my time while I was there. When you think about that as like, so it was a couple of years ago.
Miami nights, I remember.
A week in Miami paid with Ben, who was a friend. It was like ridiculous. But like at the time in Miami, I didn't think about it like that. I was just like tunnel vision on the content. We were doing daily videos. Both me and him with like ridiculous work ethic, ridiculous work rate. And like, it left me in a point where then 6 months down the line, I was like, holy shit, like I've just, like that week in Miami was like one of the best weeks of my life. But like in that moment, I didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
And
because you can't see the wood for the trees whilst you're in it.
Yeah.
But you look back on that now.
But now the point I'm making with that is that now we're having this conversation. I'm probably doing the same with this space. Is what I think. What I like to think's helped me grow my videography business is just like what you're saying. What we're doing with this space is we want to help people grow their brands, their businesses. Yeah. And that's all I've done is I want people to be able to, because I know the power of social media. Yeah. And power of content creation. We're having the right, like you've just said, it doesn't matter how good your content is, having the right content creator in your corner. Yeah. That's been my motto all along with my business. I just want to help see people grow their businesses. And I think, again, it comes back to like, well, it aligns with what you're saying about just add value.
Any business, if you strip it back to literally its bare bones, any business makes money by helping people or solving problems. Why do you think Amazon has like 50%, 57% of online purchases, even though more often than not, it's more expensive than what you could buy it for if you went to a shop or another website? Because it's all on one handy app, and 9 times out of 10, it's there the next day by 1 o'clock. Yeah. That's value. But I think in business, and again, the people that are using this space, I'm hoping are going to be serious enough to understand the difference between value and value for money. I know I constantly go on about it in my content, but people confuse the two. Value for money is you can go to Home Bargains or B&M and fill a trolley up for 200 quid and you've got a load of crap. But value is spending money on high-end AV equipment that's going to deliver for a period of time, that's going to help serious people deliver a serious outcome. And I think, perception is everything. If you've got a kid, whether that be a YouTuber, TikToker, Instagrammer, someone putting content out on LinkedIn, or even someone doing podcast videos for sort of adverts and stuff like that. How many podcast adverts have you seen where they've tried to fake Joe Rogan with the red curtain in the background?
Yeah.
Thousands.
Or even where it's just a fake podcast.
Yeah. So, but they're trying to emulate something that's big. But they're using shit quality AV equipment. They've been down to Dunelm Mill and bought a red curtain and just slapped it across the back, and they've got their mate there with some sort of Android camera filming it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But, you need to take yourself seriously. And I think this is what I want people to add value to their content and to their businesses through this. But that's how any business makes money. It's adding value. That's it. Yeah. And solving problems.
Yeah. Even down to the experience, like I've said, day-to-day of experience of just turning up, having aircon and heating in the rooms, lounge area to get a drink, hot drink, cold drink, parking and just getting straight to a train station or the M1. Like that's a massive, like you said, the people we're targeting with this space of busy business owners, industry leaders.
What was the first thing I said to you about this place? When we looked at, I know we probably can't mention our competition, but if you look at the 3 or 4 in the surrounding area, everyone will know where they are.
There's a red flag of each one.
Is in the center of town.
Yeah.
Now, if you are a business person, time is very valuable to you. Now, I find it stressful enough when I have to go and park in town at a weekend to like go for a meal with Deanna or the kids or whatever. And I'm having to like find 15, 20 minutes to park. I don't know. It just stresses me out.
Yeah, you're right.
But you can park bang outside the front door here and you're here and you're straight
in.
into it. And I don't know what you're like, but have you ever had to like run to the gate for a flight where you've been sat in the lounge at the airport and you've lost track of time? And then you and the car have been like, fuck, we're going to have to leg it.
Yeah.
When you get to the actual gate for the plane, you're stressed, aren't you? You're not in the right frame of mind. And I think content creation, you need to be in the right frame of mind.
Oh, yeah.
And again, I'm incredibly new to this, but for the strict schedule of the stuff you've got me trying to turn out, if I'm not in the right frame of mind, I stutter, I deliver shit. I don't look at the camera in the right place. I don't have the camera at the right angle. And then you go, do it again, do it again, do it again. You don't even say, that's good, but do it again anymore. You just say, do it again.
Yeah.
But equally on the flip side of the coin, where you drive for perfection, and I know this is going to help people coming into this space, is I'll think I've done the best video that I've ever done. And you'll absolutely send me like a 5-minute voice note saying why it's not good enough. But I know when you get people set up in here, the lighting's going to be spot on.
Yeah.
The camera angles are going to be spot on. The audio is going to be spot on. You know, the whole experience of walking in through the front door to the lights going up the stairs, you know, all the little details we've come across, you know, the paneling, the kitchen. All right, you filled the fridge full of white monsters. Knowing you, I don't know how long they're going to last.
But I'll just go through this stuff. It's just a tax write-off.
Oh, is that it? Okay. Was that a case of 24 last week?
Nicole got them, I don't know. She got it was less than £1 a can.
Was that on my credit card?
Is
that why it's maxed out?
Probably, monsters.
Because you set the limit for the month for white monster.
Yeah.
I think we've thought of everything, but equally the people that do come in here, you know, because we want serious people to come in through the door. We don't want people that are playing at it. If people come to us with an idea that have been to other studios and experienced something, you know, I want to know, and I'm sure you want to know what they're doing good and what they're doing bad. Because I think in any business, as humans, naturally we gravitate towards pleasure and what's easy for us.
Yep.
So, as you can see, I'm an athlete. But like, you know, if you go to the gym, everyone likes training arms, don't they? Why? Because arms are the first thing you see and arms are easy. But everyone hates training legs. Everyone finds a way to get out of doing leg days and stuff like that. I probably need to do leg days more than everyone because I've built like a giant praying mantis. But what I'm saying is people gravitate to what's easy to them. And it's the same in business. I think if you find an area in your business that's good, you want to make that great. But you want to make what's not so good okay first. So if there's things that we're doing that are not okay, I'd rather we double down to make that better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because there's always going to be things we can improve. I don't think, again, like now, looking back at every electrical job, every fire alarm job, every CCTV job, every data job, every project we've ever done, I don't think I've ever looked at it come the end and gone, there's nothing on that I'd change. But I think...
Yeah, it's like a gift and a curse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I don't think you ever get that full satisfaction of being like, we've smashed that.
Yeah.
So you're always like, if you're like me, you're like, oh, we could have done that better.
Yeah. But do you know why 96% of engineering businesses fail in the first 3 years? It's because engineers are perfectionists.
Right.
They're not afraid to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So statistically, you've got a 1 in 10 chance of surviving in the first year. 9 are going to die.
Yeah.
Then it goes down to 2 out of 10 in 3 years. And then you got a 9 out of 10 chance of surviving after 10. But it's normally engineering firms that are the first to go. And I think that's why like your Elon Musk has done so well.
Yeah.
Because with Tesla, look how many issues Tesla have had, but he's not afraid to pull the trigger. And, you know, you've got a very engineering creative mindset. And I think creative is very similar to engineering. But I think with this, if we sat here now and we were honest with ourselves and we said, right, let's walk in through the front door and let's pick fault with everything. I reckon there's 50 things in here I reckon we could change that might not be perfect in someone's eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're going to be constantly changing things. And I think what's important to you to change is not important to me and vice versa. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But having a serious content creator come in here that might have used, say, I don't know, a different brand mic arm or a different brand light, or they do something slightly differently at a different studio that works better, we'd be stupid not to emulate that here and make it better, because business isn't reinventing the wheel. The wheel's already been made. You're just trying to refine it.
Yeah.
And again, from your angle, I know obviously we offer up production services for you to kind of take care of that, but also we got customers coming here that have got their own version of you, so you're not involved. But equally, there's going to be things that you can learn from them and things they can learn from you.
Yeah.
Because I think everyone has something to bring to the table. And if everyone clubs together, that only makes for a better experience.
Yeah.
But it makes for a better experience for customers that come here. It makes for a better experience for us as business owners. And the whole thing gets better.
Network is net worth.
100%, mate. But also with the social media side of stuff, it's the most toxic, vile place in the world, as I'm learning at the minute.
Those people have to go out of their way to be negative on something. Like, I feel sorry for those people that's how they feel. They've got to spend their time to be negative towards something. Constructive criticism is different. I'll take that all. I'm very good at taking constructive criticism.
I'm not.
But but just negativity.
I've changed my mindset on that with constructive criticism.
Yeah.
So I was always taught that you should be able to take constructive criticism from people. That's a very valid point. But I flipped that on its head, and I think I taught you this. Never take constructive criticism from someone that's never constructed anything.
Yeah.
And another thing is never take advice from someone coming at it from a place of theory.
Yeah. 100%.
Because, you know, someone in university that's a business lecturer at university but's never owned a business.
Yeah.
He can give you all of the, we'll call it the blueprint, all of the paperwork, you know, how to do, you know, accounts, how to do business plans, how to do forecasts, how to do project pipelines, you know, the list goes on and on and on. But he's never actually floated a business.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think...
Yeah, it's very good advice.
Yeah. So I think, you know, take constructive criticism 100%, but taking it from the right people. Because I think what I have learned in my very small social media journey is the people that are criticizing of me, and I'm sure, again, you work with a lot of big hitters in the fitness industry, and they get a lot of negative shit. I'm already learning that the people that are providing the negative comments, the people that are never going to buy from you.
Yeah. Also true.
Joe Woodhouse said to me, I think probably 3-4 years ago, he said, it stuck in my mind. He said, your opinion of me is none of my business. And that sticks in my head as well. All of these little like things stick in my head. But it's hard because when you put your heart and soul into something and you're offering up value and people just put negative comments on it, why would you do that? You know, and on social media, all right, let's be honest about it. When you're doing short form content, the idea is to get them, to hook them in, to then take them onto long form content to buy something. That's the overall social media world.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of people out there that offer genuine value day to day for free through their content. So why would you try and discredit and dishearten them for offering up, you know, like value to people? I don't get it. And if you don't like it, you don't agree with it, then just
scroll on
and don't watch it. Do you know what I mean? Like, why do you have to go out your way to comment? You don't drive past someone's house and say it's painted purple. And you back up and go knock on the door and go, I don't like your house being purple, mate. Can you please change it? It doesn't happen, does it?
No, mate. That's just social media.
Morty taught me this. They've always got their avatar is always a picture of a dog or a cat as well. They've never actually got a picture of them on it. But
something else you've taught me during this process, and it's something I have stood by, but I think you've just reinforced it, that I knew I was on the right tracks, is it's kind of the same point. So you've said it's not about your fuck-ups, it's about how you fix your fuck-ups.
Not how you get yourself in the shit, it's how you get yourself out of the shit.
That's the correct word you use, yeah.
And
something I've stood by, which I do think's helped me, you know, a lot of the clients I work with have worked with me now for like 3 or 4 years continuously. I've increased this. It's not like because I'm the cheapest, because those prices have gone up and up and up and they've stuck by me. But I think something that's helped me with that, not that it's happened often, but in the times that I've dropped a bollock, for choice of better words, with something, I just hold my hands up and own it.
Yeah.
Joe Woodhouse is an example of one of them. I think I was filming with him and I don't know why I did it, but I was mid-shoot. He'd done a reel that was a bad take and he was like, just delete it. There was no need to delete it from a camera because you just don't edit it when you get to the edit. You just delete it when it's on your computer.
You didn't delete the lot, did you?
So I deleted it mid-shoot, carried on filming. Unbeknown to me on the cameras, there's 2 options. There's delete this or delete everything with this date. and I deleted the full shoot. Yeah.
So one reel, you thought you were just deleting that one reel,
Yeah,
but you deleted
and
the entire day.
with Joe, I did full day shoots, so it was like halfway through the day. We carried on filming for the rest. Got home and I thought, why have I only got half a shoot? Could not for the life of me work out why. Then I clicked and I was like, oh shit, I've deleted the full morning's because obviously I deleted that backwards. Did you not know this story?
No, I think you've told me, but I've just had a thought then. Is this why you've opted for cameras with 2 SD cards? So you can't make the same fuck up again?
These I've got 2 SD cards, but yeah. These extra safe with everything. And I handled that by just messaging Joe and just being like, look, Joe, I told him what I'd done it by accident. I didn't try and could have lied. I could have said the cards do corrupt, touch wood. That's why I've got 2 cards in. Cards corrupt. Things happen. Hard drives corrupt. It's genuine. I know it happens to people. I could have lied to him and told him that I'd never thought anything different. But to me and my values, I've been brought up by my parents is just stand true to yourself, stand true to your own values. And I told him that, and I think Joe respected me for it. We continued working together for a few months after that, and he rated me for it.
What was the one, I can't remember the exact context you brought to me. It wasn't the time you and Nicole came round to my house and it ended up being more like a marriage counselling session. That was the other one. But when
add that to your resume.
Yeah. What was that one when you came round to my house and didn't a customer want something? Was it the full footage or something off you? And I said, no, don't back down, know your value.
Yeah, I took your advice on this, and this is something videographers will see. The videographers get this.
They're going to get a backlash.
No. It's such a common thing in our industry. I'll see reels about it all the time, and it's clients when they pay you. So let's talk about our promotional shoot you did. You paid me for a promotional video, that main video we did for My Home Sheffield.
Yep.
You paid me for that as a deliverable. You paid X amount for that deliverable, and you got that deliverable, right? You wouldn't then. So in the context that you were talking about, that's what had happened with a client, and then there was like, oh, can we get all the raw footage as well? I love the saying of like, you don't go to Subway and pay for a foot-long sandwich and then accept all the lettuce they've not used. Like that's not, you've paid for that deliverable. That's the rest of it's an asset of ours.
Yeah.
And why would we give them that for free? Because you can just go on and re-edit all that content, get somebody else in. I'm putting myself out of pocket.
So what you're saying is basically stick everything you've recorded today into a Dropbox file or whatever.
And I'll have it for free. Because I've paid you for the shoot, but I get that as well from the shoot. It's a bit of a grey area in our industry. Although any good videographer would stand by the point of you charge them for that raw footage.
Yeah,
I did. I think I stood by my ground. I run it by you, and you was like, "Yeah, you do right."
And you phoned me up the next night saying I'm buzzing, and I could tell you were genuinely piping it on that one.
Yeah, I charged them half the shoot invoice, so I can't remember what the shoot value was. Let's just say it was $1.5 shoot. They then paid me an extra 750 quid for the raw footage. I'm not afraid to talk numbers.
But that's another example where I think historically you didn't necessarily appreciate your own value.
Yeah.
And I think that was a turning point for you in your journey where actually you thought, shit, they've paid me for X, which is fine. I've delivered them X, but now they're asking for Y. And if I give them Y, I'm not going to get to go back and make money from Z because they're just going to edit or do whatever they want to do to the rest of that footage to do you out of money.
Yeah, I'm a chronic yes man. I have been anyway in the
pathological people pleaser, my mother refers to it as.
That's me.
Yeah.
And that's why we're, again, not mentioning names. That's why you'll know there's certain clients I won't work with anymore because I know they don't value the creative world.
Yeah.
And that's why it ties back again to the point of like our conversation, how this place started was, it was like, don't neglect your value.
Yeah.
I think that's so important to me. If people aren't working and got people like yourself in the network that see value in people like that, then run a mile from those people because they're just in it for themselves. And like you said, network is net worth. Like
you don't want to, if you're going to go into business with anyone as a partnership like we have, right? I guarantee if you have a 50-page contract, you're going to be wishing you had 51 come the end of it. Where you want to go into business with someone that you have a 1-page contract with. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be certain things you need to outline of how much of the business he owns, how much of the business she owns. At the end of the year, if there's any profit left in the bank, how that's going to get divvied up and stuff like that. Obviously, all of that's boilerplate stuff and shareholders agreements and stuff like that. But I think when you start going, if you turn to page 48, subsection C, so these are not people you wanted to be dealing with.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion. I think, and I think you've dealt with people that want it for nothing or very, very cheap, which I think has then like diminished your value.
And I don't get why sometimes they're the most, in my opinion, sometimes they're the most successful people. Successful, probably wealthiest people.
Define success.
Oh,
I know this has got deep, but I'm asking you for a reason. Define success in your head.
Success to me
If you sat down here now and I was Nicole and you were you, and you were working out your future for both of you, and I said, I'm Nicole for the purposes of this conversation, said, Alex, what does our success look like to you? What would you say that is?
It's financial freedom and freedom with our time.
Yeah.
So financial freedom to me doesn't mean turning over £1 million and having the biggest house on the street. It's not me. Like I want to have nice things. I want to get another RS6 again. That's my goal. But success to me is...
I knew you'd live to regret that.
Yeah, but no, it's the right time. I'll get roasted now for selling an RS6 for a Tesla. No, sorry. So success to me is financial freedom. It's flexibility. It's doing what I love. But having time now together, doing things we want to do, being able to just have a week away whenever we want.
Yep.
Like that's important to me.
Yep.
I've seen some of the most miserable people is some of the wealthiest people I've known are some of the most miserable because, and again, it probably ties back to that white rabbit sometimes that people are just chasing this thing that never comes and they don't actually enjoy the time now. And that was the reason I set up. And again, I don't want to get deep with it. It's not a sob story, but it's the fact of my dad passed away 2018. The bloke's worked hard all his life to get to, giving me and my sister and my mum a very good life.
Yep.
To retire at, well, he made him retired about 50. I think I took like an early, what is it when you get paid, when the company...
Voluntary redundancy.
So he got that, but then ended up setting up his own business as it was called Superior Executive Travel. So he did airport transfers. Yeah. So my dad was a 6'3" bald bloke, security background, and ended up really loving. He loved driving like me, so he ended up loving what he was doing, and it was a chauffeur. So like women going on nights out or on holidays would love him because he's like polite, 6'3" bloke, always suited and booted with shiny shoes.
Talk.
Yeah. So anyway, he was loving what he was doing. But my point where I'm going with that is, he's worked all his life to get to a retired life, but then didn't get that retired life. Yeah. Because obviously diagnosed with a brain tumor and then passed a few years after that. Yeah. But my point of what I'm saying is that I saw him do that and he loved his life, but I don't want to get to that. There's so many times I see people get into like 50s, 60s and they're just getting ill, or I don't want to get to that point and then that happen. So I want to just enjoy my time now. So that's success to me. Yeah. I say without going off on a tangent too deep, but then that's the whole point of why so my dad passed away August 2018, there's no coincidence I bought the camera July 2019 and I was like, I wasn't unhappy in my job. I was like, what can I be doing that's fulfilling and going to give me a bit of a return? And it was only a hobby and then it just snowballed and now here we are with the podcast studio.
You could sit here with 10 different people and get 10 different definitions of success.
What's success to you? So I know you've done a lot of self-reflection lately. I think you've gone through a period of growth, haven't you, this past...
The last year, I've gone through a period of massive, working on myself. I'm going to get emotional. A massive period of working on myself. Because I've given 13 years of my life, 90, 100 hours a week, had a stroke in 2023, could have died. Why? All for work. Yeah. And then what do you get in return? And people will say money. Right, okay, so money. When I had my stroke and I was in a stroke ward in Chesterfield Hospital and I'm 45 years younger than the next average person in that stroke ward, what could have money done for me at that point if I couldn't have walked the next day or I was blind in one eye or something like that? But I kept going and going and going and going and going. And I think when I sat down with Morty last year, it wasn't the podcast I did with him, it was one of my one-to-one sessions with him. I think he hit it on the head. He said, Greg, you don't need, like people say you need work-life balance. I'm not a big believer in work-life balance. I think it's work-life choices because you get out what you put in. Yep. And that was always what I did. And I thought the harder I work, the luckier I'll get. But for me, I think he said that I need a purpose. I don't need work-life balance. I don't need success. To me is having a purpose.
He said that like himself or to you?
He said that to me. Right. He said, Greg, you're one of these people, you don't switch off. Like he said, you're not the type of bloke that enjoys holidays. I can tell because I can email you and you email back 36 seconds later and you're supposed to be sat by a pool in Dubai or whatever. Yeah. But he said, you need a purpose. And I think my purpose now has changed somewhat. So I want to help people, whether it's through this at Hora, helping them achieve their goals and work towards their business goals, their content goals through you. I think it's the work I'm doing with people in property that are going to create financial independence in the short term to financial freedom, as you referred to it, in the long term. Because, you know, time doesn't stop for anyone. My father's just retired, and, you know, my dad's my hero, and my dad's worked incredibly hard his entire life. That's where I got my work ethic from. You know, he'd work 6 days a week, gone before we got up, you know, and he worked incredibly hard, and he's, you know, his back's fucked, both his knees replacing, he's got metal plates in his feet, building trade. I mean, it's hard graft. And don't forget, back then, there wasn't half the machines around today that, you know, lift bricks up onto the roof for you. You know, it was like odd carrying back then. So, the bloke's broken. But I think what did me for him was he took his lump sum payment for his pension, and he got taxed like, I've got 100 grand in my head, or just shy of 100 grand. And I'm like, he's worked his ass off his entire life. He's paid into that since he was 16 years old. And then he was thinking it was going to benefit him and my mum in retirement. And then it's took 100 grand off of him, which is why I'm so passionate about property now, I think, as well, because I think creating passive income and cash flow and assets is better for your family, my family, and anyone's family, because time is one thing you don't get back. And as long as you're trading time for money, it's a race to the bottom. So success to me, I know I've digressed somewhat there, but I think success for me is being able to take Deanna and the kids away on holiday, or go out for the day, or do whatever, and me be able to actually still be earning money. I'm not saying earning lots of money, by the way. I'm not saying, like, you know, living the like Lamborghini and yacht in Dubai lifestyle, which is all a bollocks story, but we're going for that for another day, because, you know, that winds me up as well. But being able to go away for a week or 2 weeks, but, you know, during that 2-week period that you don't have to be at work. Do you know what I mean? You got enough money coming in.
And you've not had to smash yourself to bits the 2 weeks before you went away just to make up for that.
Yeah. Because, you know, technically, you're self-employed, I'm self-employed. You know, this is one of the few benefits of having an employed job, is you get holiday pay. But if I go away on holiday, or you go away on holiday,
it stops,
you don't get paid, do you? So like you said, you have to smash yourself to bits 2 weeks before to make that 2 week, like, you know, period where you're not earning, or you have to rack up a shed load of work when you're back to like fill that deficit. So I think, success to me is helping my family first and foremost become financially free. I'm not there yet. I'm nowhere near there yet. I think I'm on the path to financial independence, and I'm helping people on the path towards that. Yeah. But I think AI is killing everything, man. Yeah. Killing absolutely everything. You know, I've done a course on it. I've been to a couple of seminars. My mate Ben spoke about it, and it's scary, man, what this is going to do. And I'm firmly of the belief that in 5 years, it's going to be personal brands and AI, because you're going to need a personal brand to run something that's AI controlled.
And connection community, I reckon, as well. Like, can't replace this level of conversation now.
No.
It can replace our voices. Yeah. We could probably put it into a script and put in what we want to say, but it's not that authentic level of, and that's why authenticity is king nowadays, isn't it?
I think with AI, you can program it to do things better than humans, and AI doesn't have a sick day. It doesn't have a holiday day. It doesn't have HR issues. It doesn't have an argument with its wife. It'll work 24/7 for you. But I don't think AI is ever going to be at a point where it can come at something from point of consciousness, which is powerful, but it's very, very dangerous. Like you said, it wouldn't be able to have the conversation that me and you are having now. It wouldn't be able to have this idea. Yeah. You could probably put into Claude now, or Anthropic, or Perplexity. You know, you can go on forever. You know, Manus, you can put into chat. You can go build me a business plan to build a podcast studio. Yeah. It'll probably give you a fairly accurate business plan of how to build a podcast studio. Yeah. But it wouldn't come up with the idea for you. Yeah. Now you'll get the input versus output people going, yeah, but if you give it a prompt saying, please generate me a profitable business idea in 2026, it's going to reel off 20 different things. But why would you build a business that you're not passionate about? Yeah. But yeah.
Passion leaves clues. It's one of my favorite sayings.
Yeah, it does, mate.
Was AJ Morris's quote that on one of the video I filmed with him.
Really?
Yeah, passion leaves clues.
Yeah.
It's so true. That's a good way to finish it, I think. So we've been an hour there. That's gone quick. I've enjoyed that, mate.
That was good.
That was good. We don't normally have that level of conversation. It's normally just 100 mile an hour business chat.
Coffee.
White Monster.
Coffee, White Monster.
So yeah, Aura Studios will be open soon.
Yep.
I'm hoping, I think it should be this coming Monday, as long as we can get things final things finish this week.
We've had a couple of people in. I don't want to say dummy using it. We've been testing it, and for a few people
from those who've shown that keen interest.
Yeah, and there has been a few bugs that we've had to iron out, and a few niggles. But I say we. I use that we very loosely. You've got there with it.
Yeah, and then you've just been my counsellor with it.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm happy to be that. By the way,
good. I appreciate that, mate.
You know, therapist.
Good. Yeah, we've been good at it, I think. I mean, you might be the reason I need the therapist as well.
Yeah. Sorry, with my rants about we need to get it done by 4 o'clock today.
Yeah, no, it's fine, mate. It's exciting. Very excited for where we can take this. It's just the start, I think. But excited to see it all come together and come to life.
Sweet.
Cheers for that, mate.
No worries, mate.
And also this is on your YouTube, so this is on your YouTube, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to
subscribe to your YouTube. You're going to get some more podcast guests on.
Yep, got a few coming in the next few weeks.
Hopefully people have taken a lot away from that. I'm sure they will have done. I think you've got a lot more to offer as well. And yeah, get yourself out there more. That's my mission.
I'm not sure I have anything to offer. I just talk shit.
Well, I think people will disagree with this.
Cheers, mate.
Right, smashed it, mate.
Legend.
Cheers, mate.